Okay. Well, Katie's not here.
Welcome to Behind the Sign, where it's just 3 out of 4. We have 75% of the group here. Katie.
Nice math.
Seriously, though.
Was that
Yeah.
all right? Was that correct?
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
good.
God gave with, thank you. God gave with both hands. Katie has to work.
Ugh.
Too bad.
She's selling real
Lame.
estate.
Yeah, lame. So welcome to the Behind the Sign 3 out of 4. Here, before we get started, I have something really embarrassing that I have to call out before we get started, just because I'll be thinking about it the whole time.
Do it.
What happened?
What
I
is
suck so much.
Why?
Let me see.
It's not very professional.
Oh.
That's hilarious. Like, I mean, if you didn't mention it, I wouldn't. Ew, gross.
Okay, today it's me versus the Eastern Europeans. I'm a little nervous. I don't have any
There's the block.
backup. Should I be scared?
No.
I don't know.
Why would we
No,
scare?
we're kind Eastern Europeans. We've been out of there
We're
long enough.
domesticated. Eastern
Yeah.
Europeans, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're Americanized. Like, you don't have
We had a
anything to
taste
worry
of freedom.
about. True.
Okay.
You don't know. Like, you just don't know. Like, unless you've been to Eastern Europe. But even if you go to Eastern Europe right now, I
No,
feel
but
that
if you go to Eastern Europe,
it's
there's also like
so-
historical parts, and you're like, oh, this is nice. But if you have not seen the block,
yeah, you actually have to have seen the good old days in order to realize how bad
When was that?
how bad it was. Like in the 90s.
yeah, and
Oh,
like we
here
call
too.
them crazy 90s. No, like people were like racketeering on the streets and like selling their like shit for like bartering like their stuff for other stuff. It was so broke, so
It
terrible.
used to be called what was it called? Fuck. The post communism period. So basically, when communism fell, that was the transition period. That's what they called it, the transition period, when we went from communist to capitalist. And that transition period, I think it's still going on like 35 years later.
Do you guys go back a lot?
Never been back since I left.
You
Oh, my
haven't?
country is at war, so it would take me like 48 hours to just make it there because you have to fly to Poland, you have to take a train, and then to the border, and then you have to take either another train or like a bus because I'm from Kiev, which
Yeah.
is in the center of Ukraine.
Right.
So it's quite far. It's like legit takes days to get there. Yeah. And then you can still be bombed because that's what people like live through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll
I-
wait. Yeah.
I'll go once a year, at least try to go once a year.
Yeah.
And try to combine it with another European country. Like kind of visit somewhere else. You know, if I go to Bulgaria, like we'll try to go, I don't know, England, Greece,
Yeah.
like the good parts of Europe.
Love
The
that.
wine, what is it called? The wine and cheese, not the vodka and cigarettes countries.
When you guys are like in the field,
Yeah.
would you people assume where you're from?
I get
Before you tell
Russian or
them-
Polish a lot. Yeah.
Russian or
It's
Polish.
just, I mean, my name is Anastasia. So
Yeah.
like,
I mean, I have an accent, so everyone is asking where you're from.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
But you
hide
don't
it.
Do
Yeah,
they
like
ever
an
jump to
assumption,
conclusions
yeah.
first?
Not really. I mean, I personally believe that people don't give a shit these days, though. It's not like you're in the 80s and 90s and be like, oh, he's an immigrant. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, what's gonna happen now? You know.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
he the communist?
people don't care these days, though.
Yeah.
Or at least in Chicago, because Chicago is sort of a melting pot of
Yes.
a lot of cultures, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
racist cultures. Like everything is like so. Everything is mingling here. So, which I appreciate about the city. I don't think
Same.
I'll be able to
Yeah.
live in. I mean, again, no offense for the South and stuff, but I don't think I'll be able to live in Bumblefuck.
Mm-mm.
No.
Where everyone looks like you.
Yeah.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah, it's one of my.
I mean,
favorite
I
things
haven't
about Chicago as
tried,
well.
but I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. It's also hot as fuck. I would never be able to do it.
Yeah.
Gross.
People are
sweating.
weird down there. Anyway, not if you're from there, we love you. Okay, cool. So we don't have Katie, so we're gonna read 2 Reddit posts and we're gonna comment on that. How much fun? I'll
Yeah,
go
thank
first.
you for excluding me from the conversation of picking up the story.
Okay. We're used to it.
We had a miscommunication.
Like,
Nick
seriously.
doesn't have a story.
Katie wants to kick me out. We haven't even started the podcast. Katie wants to kick me out of the
What do you mean
podcast.
she wants to kick you
Well,
out?
after
Well,
we
Katie,
made
you
that-
want to kick him out?
Well, after
What's going on?
she said you guys gonna kick me out after you make $1 million.
Yeah,
Oh.
I remember that conversation.
You weren't supposed to know that. That was just between
That's
the
what I'm
3
saying.
of us.
Like, you guys already want to kick me out. I
Katie.
see the exclusion, the transition is happening.
$1
right?
million
I'm like,
is not a lot of money.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
We need
why,
$1
that's why I wanna
billion and
stay,
then we'll
though.
kick your ass
that's
out.
Why, I mean, I'll kick my ass out. Like when we make
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Billion?
I will
Sorry,
I will
guys, I
gladly
can't make
leave.
it.
I'm like, fuck y'all. Like, I'm
No.
going to the South.
Don't. This is the first one I have. The title is should I quit real estate?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it. This is like kind of sad. So this is giving Hallmark movies. So if I cry, just
Okay.
give me a tissue.
Well, we
Move on.
won't see it. You wear glasses.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I wear them. So I have no emotion. I have Botox in my face as well, so I don't show emotion. Okay. I got my license in September and joined a team. I worked really hard, open houses every weekend, calling leads, etc. I got let go of my team because my son had been sick so much and my team leader wanted me in the office every day. I didn't close any transactions, had one in escrow, but she backed out. About to join a new brokerage, but feeling very discouraged. I've paid so many fees and have only made money from one rental and some showings from another agent. Considering going back to school for nursing or teaching, but I'm 41 and would have to take out loans. Should I keep trying real estate or should I go back to school?
Okay, my personal take. First of all, I think that you should try rentals just as supplemental income.
Oh.
Because rentals are, I mean, again, it's a lot of legwork. Not
And a lot of people start out that well.
Not a
that way.
lot of money, but it's a lot easier money than navigating buyers and sellers right away, right? So I would personally think that, yes, get yourself, probably don't quit real estate. Start into another company, see if they'll be able to give you some kind of rental leads. And yeah, best. I mean, do they say where they're from? Like which state do they work in?
No.
Regardless.
But let's just say it's for our purposes. Let's say it is in
let's say
Illinois.
it's Illinois because New York is a little bit different. New York is a different animal when it comes to rentals, but the majority of the United States are kind of the same, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say if you're in a bigger city, not a big city necessarily, but bigger city, something like a little bit more of like Chicago, Denver, or Boston or something, you'll be able to make money fairly easy. I want to say not a lot of money to maybe support a family of 3 or 4, but you can definitely support your son specifically because her son is sick. You know, you'll definitely be able to support your son and maybe be home in reasonable hours if you're doing that, solely doing rentals, and then slowly start picking up a buyer or a seller here and there. But if you wanna jump straight into sales, you need a company. I mean, this is not like, it's not like we're tooting our own horn, but you need a company like Vesta, definitely, that gives you unlimited amount of leads, even though you will be working a lot more so than rentals.
And a training. We give a training
and
too.
A training.
Not a lot of places
that's one of the
will do
most important things. But the most important things is not even training; it's leads.
Yeah.
Because you can have all the training in the world, but if you don't have people to work that training on, it's kind of irrelevant, though.
And I think with rentals, once you do one, it's pretty much cookie cutter every single time. So it is, to your point, it's a nice way to make some money because you do one, you get your feet wet, you're good to go. Next. What do you think?
I think that the options that were presented, it's either you continue doing real estate, either you go back to school for nursing or teaching, I think. All of these things are an investment, right? If you go to nursing school, you'll invest time and money, and then eventually you'll be able to become a nurse. If you go back to teaching school, you invest time and money, eventually you'll become a teacher. And then if you continue in real estate, unfortunately, just like the previous two, you will have to invest time and money before you feel confident and comfortable and the real estate starts making money. So no matter which way it goes, it will probably involve about the same amount of investment from you energetically, financially, and time-wise to actually start getting yourself anywhere. But real estate is not an easier option for it. I would think whichever ones bring you the most satisfaction and maybe emotional reward, whether you like teaching people, healing people, or becoming people, see people become homeowners, lean into that one. But real estate will not be any easier than the other two.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think something to be said here is, you know, he says, I worked really hard, open houses every weekend, calling leads. I got let go because my team leader wanted me in the office every day. You know, I think it's really, before you join a team or join a brokerage, first of all, they're going to interview you, but you should also interview them and see like what their expectations are of you and if that fits in your lifestyle. Because one of the good things and not so good things about real estate is the more you work, the more you make, and you are kind of on your own schedule. And I like to be in the office because it motivates me to work a little bit more consistently and a little bit harder. You know, working at home, I get distracted a lot, but you could work at home and still do really well. So you need to know if the real estate lifestyle works with your life, because it takes a really specific type of worker to be successful in the industry. It's not like the amount of hours you work. And we talked about this last week. It's not the amount of hours you work, you get paid this amount of money. It just doesn't work out like that. It's motivation in a completely different way.
Yeah.
I mean, also splitting yourself between few different options and going different routes and trying to be successful in few different things generally doesn't work.
Yeah.
From my experience.
Yeah.
For example, because all of these things that she's he or she, I don't know.
It's a he.
All of these things that he's listing is like, for example, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a real estate agent, I want to be this and that. All of these are professions. We're talking about a legitimate profession that you need to invest, like Anastasia said, time and money in order to be successful. And it takes that, what was it, $10,000 hour rule that, if the more you do something, the better you get. Like, I just personally don't think that for a 41-year-old, and again, I'm not shitting on the age here, but for a 41-year-old to just start trying to be successful in two separate professions like real estate and teaching, it's just not going to cut it though. Like, you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you don't have the same motivation probably.
Yeah.
Specifically when you just got your ass kicked from one job, like in terms of not that your ass got kicked out, but abnormal heart rate.
What is that?
Abnormal heart rate.
Why are you so nervous?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Do you need to need a minute? Yeah, deep cleansing breath. Wait, what was that? It ticks when heart rate is too high?
Up, yeah.
Oh my God.
Man, it happens like
it
happens like 4 times a day at least.
Really?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm gonna die young, dude. But yeah, back to my point is like, I don't think you can split.
Do I need one of those? I don't know. My heart rate. What is?
Is it
now
the
my
Garmin?
heart rate's getting
It's
higher.
Garmin. It's Garmin. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have my Aura and it cracks my stress, and sometimes like you were stressed more than you usually are. I'm like, I know. Yes.
I don't have anything to track anything.
I love that.
Yeah, I can't be.
Oh, that's why I
distracted.
changed from Apple Watch, because it like vibrates all the time. It tells you all the time. You forgot to wear it to a workout, and you're like, oh no, this workout doesn't count. At least this is like, it's here, it's doing the thing.
We're in real estate.
Right.
My heart rate is every time my
Right.
phone
My-
rings,
my
my
point
heart rate skyrockets. I'm like, what is this phone call?
Yeah, my point
What's gonna
exactly.
happen?
But I mean, it's not like you're regulating, but at least it tells you like, hey, for example, that's my 4 shot of espresso today, right? Yeah, it's gonna.
That's not very good.
It's not gonna be
I think
low
I'm
though. You know what I mean?
I'm
It's-
something like that too. Yeah, and I think to your point, this guy's 41 years old. People enter this real estate industry at all different ages. Some people start very, very young. Some people start in their 40s. What's good about starting later is you already have a set of life skills and you already kind of know who you are and how you work, which is kind of invaluable
And you
as
have
well.
network that you built over your life.
Especially if you came over from another profession or group or whatever, another job, like you already have a built-in network, which is half, in my opinion, half the battle when you're in this industry anyways, pulling like, who do you know? What's your book of business like?
I don't know. I just can't imagine being over 40 and starting a new profession though. I can't imagine it. Like,
really?
just the amount of hours that you have to put to be successful into something.
Yeah, but sometimes it's more of a natural transition. I think if you do have like a good, like to your point, if you come from a job where you have like the right set of skills and the right network and can be easy. My husband does, he's an insurance underwriter and they do like specialty insurance, and apparently a lot of attorneys transition into like insurance later on when they're like tired of working the hours. It's a natural transition for them. So they have a lot of like claim people that used to be attorneys somewhere else. So I think there are more natural transitions. I don't know if this is the case here. I also wanted to add, I don't know what kind of team. Either we are getting not accurate information, either the team leader and the team is just a piece of shit of a person. Because if I am getting to be at the office every day, I need to get some value out of it. Either give me a salary, either give me leads.
Yeah.
But the point that the person was there for a month without getting anything in return, it's still an exchange, right? I will cover the showings for you and cover the open houses for you. And I have to either get a salary for me not to have to worry about everything else. Either you have to A, teach me, B, provide me some sort of lead so that I can get my feet wet. And I think if you stick with real estate, I would interview the company much harder.
Yeah. And I think, to pull this back, like bird's eye view, even for, I can't speak for you guys, but for me, I ask myself that question at least once a week. I'm like, should I quit real estate? I just am like, something happens. You
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that happen in this industry that you just can't be prepared for,
Mm.
and you really do need a thick skin because it can be emotional for sure. And I'm always like, I
Mhm.
want to quit, or should I quit, or should I do something else?
Yeah.
And then you get over it and you have like another successful week or day or year, month, and you kind of plug through. I guess that maybe with everything, I just think that real estate is very unique in that it's not the more you know the more information you have, the better you'll be. It's like the more experience, the more things you go through, and the thicker your skin becomes. Then I think that's
you
when
have
you
to
really
mess
are
up
successful.
a few times,
Yeah.
for sure. Otherwise, it's really hard because we don't get to unplug. You don't
Yep.
have to come home and be like, I love watching those TikToks where somebody, like 5:02, peace out.
Yeah.
Like you can't do
Joanna's
that.
like that.
You cannot
Yeah.
do
You know,
that.
she finishes work like 5:30,
Yep.
close the laptop, be like, I'm done for today.
Henry's like that too. Yeah.
I mean, God bless. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I love it. You know, I mean, I'm happy for people like that, but I don't think I'm wired that way. I actually don't contemplate quitting real estate. I love it.
I cry at least like every 2 weeks about job. So
I go to sometimes the dark place. Like I don't cry because I don't have tear ducts. I sold those a while ago. But I can get like in a depressive state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but then, and I said this in a meeting a couple weeks ago, like once I have like a really good phone call or a really good interaction with someone, I kind of pulls me out of that. But it's tough. I feel like you just innately have a really thick skin anyway. Like I think you're really good at letting shit bounce off you.
I mean, I'm dead inside though. That's another.
But you have to be a little dead inside.
You have
for-
to
be
die
in real
inside in
estate.
order for things not to affect you, because you cannot be on the same emotional level as the majority of your buyers and sellers. Because
Say that again.
Yeah,
That's really important.
Yeah, you cannot be on the same emotional level. You have to keep everyone in check, especially yourself. This is the most important thing, because if you start freaking out at every little thing that you know how home buyers freak out about, oh my God, faulty outlet, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm canceling a $800,000 contract, right? So you have to be the voice of reason the majority of the transactions. So at this point, you have to mature enough that even if people like you do that really good, and when people shit on you, especially like sellers, like they keep yelling on your phone and be like, you're the worst, you're this, literally the transaction close, you're the best person I've ever known, you're the best agent and all that. But if you cannot let these things like kind of slide off your shoulder and keep the transaction going and keep yourself going, I think that you will find yourself in a really dark place.
Yeah. Sometimes I think back and I remember the things that used to bother me a lot, like early on, and like every time somebody ran late or something, like we had an agreement, then somebody changed mine. Like these things don't bother me at all anymore. Somebody's like, oh, actually, I thought about it. I decided not to buy, even though like yesterday we spoke about for an hour about doing this. It like does not even touch me a little bit. I find it funny. So I feel like it's kind of like a video game or something where you graduate to the next level, and like you have all of those skills. That's great, but then you'll have something so bizarre and so crazy, and no matter how long you're in real estate and you're like, I've seen everything, you have not.
You have not.
And sometimes you'll be like, well, that's something that I've not been prepared for. I have not cried about that before, but I'm gonna go straight to the shower and we're going to get through it right now.
I mean, it doesn't get easier. You just get better at it.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and regardless, like you said it really good. It is a game, and once you learn how to play a game, that's it. You kind of want, and at this point is like when you start getting the cheat codes, you're like, okay, I know how to work the leads. I know what to say. I know how to negotiate and all that. And then at this point becomes like, how hard do I want to work and how much money do I want to make? So at this point, when you start making X amount of money, you will be able for yourself to be like, okay, do I really need to work 7 days a week, 15 weeks straight? Do I really want to do it, or I want to take like a few days off, maybe go on vacation, etc.? Because the reason we play that game is not to win. The reason we play it is to eventually stop playing the game and enjoy it and do it for fun and enjoyment.
Yeah.
And if you keep looking at the numbers over and over and over again, you at some point you might burn yourself out emotionally and physically. And and then you find yourself in that place that you say like once a week, I'm like, why the fuck am I here?
Yeah. I think what's really great about the company we work for is like our CEOs say that a lot. Like you have to grind for this amount of time, and then the goal is to get some of your life back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To whether that's building a team or whatever it may be. Like I think that that's a great way. That's a great goal to have. Like you grind. You're making money. And then at some point you want time back. That's where the value is.
And well, going back to the person who is contemplating if starting a brand new career at 41, like
You have to, no matter where you go, you'll have to invest a lot of time.
Yeah.
a lot of time. And I don't see it for me. I don't know what I would do. I mean, hopefully I wouldn't have to be in that situation overall.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, there's a quote that like the magic you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding
But
overall. So
you change careers, you change careers at what, 30?
I was 28 when I started renting apartments.
Yeah, so like
27 or
you've done
28.
it before.
Yeah, but like I still had a lot of energy and like motivation.
I see.
Like,
yeah.
when you're
Yeah. So it's a
41
case by case basis. I
Mm,
mean,
yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
my real estate's my like third career.
Yeah.
I feel like I change careers
Mhm.
every 7 years. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I think, it's a case by case. But you really have to know yourself. So like to wrap this up, like I would give this guy really be very, very particular on where you're going and see if they can give back to you what you're going to put in. And like I said, not to over promote us, but we have a really nice associate broker program when people come in here and we teach them the ropes and then kind of graduate them to,
And they have a
to
salary.
the place.
They get
And they
little
have a salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right off the bat that you're going to be somewhat financially stable depending on your spending habits. I could never.
I could never either.
Yeah,
I have
no.
my bills. When I say my bills, I mean my Botox, my massages, my nails.
Well, I have
my
a,
gym.
Glasses are a big
Yeah.
expense.
I have a CFO at home. So she's
You have a chief financial officer at home?
yeah, Joanna is like so good with money.
What do you just give her all your money?
I don't give her all my money, but I mean, like, hey, I want to buy this, and she's like, that's stupid. And like 3 minutes later, I was like,
Oh.
that's why you're the CFO, and that is very stupid.
I need a Joanna because me and Henry are just like,
Jeez.
spend it.
Well, I'm unfortunately, I'm rubbing off on her a little bit, so she's been like, yeah, why not? And I was like, oh, that's not a good answer. That's not a good answer for me. You're supposed to keep me, down there.
In check. Okay. Anastasia's got our next.
Well, I actually do have, so I did save two, so I can give one of them to Nick.
Yeah, give.
Yeah.
That's a great color.
Thank you.
What
Well, I
color
think
is that?
you know what? I don't know.
Canary
It's
yellow?
Russian manicure, so I don't know the name of it, but yeah, like a little.
Wait, what?
It's yellow.
It's a Russian manicure?
Yeah, I
What's
also
that
do
mean?
Russian manicures. So they don't soak your nails; they file it down. It's all fully dry, so it doesn't damage your nail or your cuticle with these chemicals. And then they go really, really close to cuticle. So this is my week 3, and they still look like very fresh.
Interesting.
And they last like 4 weeks, and yeah.
I'm gonna go get a Russian manicure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that color looks really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do you want me to give you one of?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just open it for you, and then you read it. You got it.
Yeah, since I'm being slowly ousted of the show, might as well get
It's
my
okay. It's
15
okay.
minutes.
Here,
of
we'll
fame.
we'll calm you down for a little bit.
Yeah, take a deep breath before you. We don't want your watch to go off.
You don't want me to drop it.
I think this one's pretty good, and then mine kind of relates to this. So you read this, but read before the edit, and then we can talk, and then you can read the edit.
Okay, so
It's
I
short.
want this only.
Yeah.
Katie, we need you. We need our
Yeah. Well, read
reader
the
back.
name, and yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed because I cannot read. Okay.
What do you mean you can't read?
No, I mean I can read, but I'm very
Oh.
bad with actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we were under contract with with some buyers out of state, and they gave us a lowball offer. We countered, and they stood firm, but we threw in that now that the house is being sold as is. Inspection came back with little cosmetic issues, which we are repairing. I'm sorry, see, I told you I can read. Said that the seal in the dual pane window, Jesus fucking Christ, is starting to deteriorate. Buyers asked us to replace the windows. Interesting. We said no since they're getting a discount, and we said as is. Now they're terminating the contract and asking for their earnest money. What would you do? So literally they're literally terminating contract because they don't wanna change the windows because the seals are broken.
Yeah, it's like the seals is like when the fogging, like
Yeah.
the windows start to fog up. You can actually replace the seal. You don't have to replace the whole window. It costs like $300.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's important to read the follow-up here.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you do? That was the question. Now, edit. My realtor just informed me that they never paid the earnest money, so
What?
they are in breach of contract already. This has been 3 weeks since they made the offer. Fuck, I'm blind. The offer. And we had the contract going, and it was about a week and a half ago the inspection came through. There were no issues whatsoever with our home. The windows are the windows are the original windows, and they're showing their age. Since they came in with a low offer, we said that we were not replacing and repairing anything else that may come up on the inspection. So when they came back with asking for new windows, we politely said, come back to us at our asking price and we'll replace the windows. And they say no. So the first counter from them was a $10,000 discount or deduction, and we said no. Then they came back with a $5,000 deduction, and we said no again.
Who are these agents on both sides?
Right?
Why were the earnest money not submitted like a day and a half, or a day or 2 or 3 days after the
And
contract
was it more
accepted?
contingent
It
too?
makes
I'm
no
so
sense.
confused.
Okay, let's take this from the top, really slow. They made a lowball offer on a place. The listing side came back and was like, we'll take the lowball, but we're doing it as is. No request, don't request
Fair.
anything. Fine, because you are lowballing, that's it. So the buyer's agent should set them up saying, we're doing as is, we're already low. Hopefully they did a CMA and they're like, you're getting a good deal on this. But we're not asking for anything after the inspection. Also, you can see that the seal is broken during your showing.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that would need an inspection to find that. And then Anastasia, tell them about earnest money, like how that would work.
Yeah, so the earnest money is a show of good faith, right? You're pretty much telling your seller that you will not change your mind, block their number, move to Wisconsin, and never talk to them again after they already put the place on the contract. We usually, at least that's the way I do it, I think that's the way you guys do it too, we usually break it down in a couple installments.
Yeah.
Smaller one before the inspection, then you do an inspection, you know that you're going through with the place, and you give a bigger portion of it.
It comes out of your
Usually
closing costs.
it comes out to your closing costs. It's being held in a separate escrow account. Seller never touches it with their hands. It's usually either seller's brokerage or like a title company that's holding it. And we are usually talking around 3 to 5% in Chicago. Sometimes I think in some states it's less, because here and there I have somebody ask me about 1%. In Chicago it's usually a little more. But I would never give more than 3-4 business days for their earnest money to be deposited. I usually do 2 business days in certain
free tops.
circumstance. If the buyer, I think I had a buyer from France once, and they had like a bunch of federal holidays there, so we did a little longer than that. But there should have never been a point where you're on the contract with somebody for 3 weeks, the place is marked on the contract, but you have nothing, no show of good faith from the buyer.
You have the listing agent should be like, where's your earnest money, where's your earnest money, where's your earnest money?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, even if, I mean, on the buy side I always go for 3 I on the list side, I try to get a little bit shorter, but like that's the first step on tracking where that goes, because you're basically paying to take it off the market and not show it, asterisk next to that, but it buys you into your inspection. And just so people know, when you do as is, you can still definitely have an inspection.
Yeah.
Your good faith is that you're not going to ask for
Yeah, and there's certain things that you can ask for if it's something that the seller didn't know about, or something that is a truly
Disclosures.
major issue for you to walk away. A lot of times the sewer scope comes up and like, okay, we forgot about it. It doesn't show anywhere. But a window seal is a minor thing, and unless the seal was broken at every single window in the house, there should have never been a point of we are replacing all the windows. And $10,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, the buyers sound like super greedy. Also, I would want to know like how long it's been listed. I'm sure it's been listed for quite a while if they're even going to entertain a low ball offer.
Yeah, but I also saw in the discussion thread with some of the comments, there were some people who said, because the first comment was about the earnest money, and everyone was like, "Wow, you have to fire your agent because they did it."
Yep.
From there, which I agree, you should fire the agent.
On both sides.
But then somebody goes, "I disagree. The buyer's agent is under no obligation to insist that the buyer pay the earnest money, especially if she knows the buyer really isn't committed. Clever move. On the other hand, if the buyer's agent neglected their earnest money in the listing amount and the contract with another buyer, I would be really pissed. They may report my realtor. So I think it really depends on whether or not the house was marked as it's under contract. If the house is marked under contract, you have to have something.
You're in breach of contract if you don't have the earnest money, and the buyer's agent is obligated to tell the buyers and be like,
Yes.
if you do not submit the earnest money in like X amount of business days, you are in breach of contract, or the sellers can cancel the contract on you at any time.
So we disagree with that comment. That
Yes,
it's a clever
yeah,
move, correct?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, this is crazy. And like, it is your job. I've run into a couple of those agents. They're like, where I would represent the seller and I would ask the buyer's agent what's going on with their buyer, and they're like, I don't know, we're already under contract. I don't get involved. We
What?
are. It is our job to get involved in everything. You
Yeah.
have to know every step of the
Yeah.
transaction. We are this like little glue that keeps everyone together. And same on the seller side. So like there's one person and the other person who is talking about buyer's personality, buyer's mom's personality, buyer's dad's personality,
Yeah.
lender, attorney, and you have seller and their friend who sold the house in the brat. Like we have to hold everyone together. And if you're not doing it, then you are not representing your client.
Our job on both sides as real estate brokers is to make sure the transaction is as smooth as possible. So even on the buy side, yeah, I would be like, you have to submit the earnest money because I don't want the sellers to get upset or the seller's agent to get upset. That's not a smooth transaction. We want to keep this ship moving forward. That's what our job is.
But also, that's why you have. That's why in legitimate good companies, you do have transaction coordinator who keeps an eye on that kind of stuff. That's why in attorney states you do have the attorneys kind of poking. But in this specific situation, I think that everyone was in fault except the sellers.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
buyer's agents, the seller's agents, the attorney, if attorney was involved, the inspector, for fuck's sakes. Yes, the inspector is unbiased. They're supposed to be like, hey, seals are broken, windows are fucked. Do whatever you want with it, right? A good inspector will be like, listen, is it the biggest deal?
Yeah,
The
but
house is
I
in
will,
a good condition overall. You know, when the inspector finishes inspection, right? They do a walkthrough with the summary and be like, listen, in this room, this is what you're supposed to be kind of worried about or not worried about. Is this the biggest problem? No, it's not. It's an easy fix or not an easy fix.
I disagree though, because there are certain buyers, especially the buyers who submit lowball offers right off the bat, they know they will be negotiating.
Yeah.
The house can be a new construction, they have zero things.
Yeah.
They will be coming into it looking for what they can get more money off the price. And it's kind of giving me the vibe that if it was not the windows, they would find something else.
They might have found something else, but also the listing agent here is at fault. Well, the buyer and the listing agent should have communicated a lot better. Maybe the buyer's agent was trying to play it smart. Be like, oh, I mean, if we don't submit the earnest money, you really don't like the house. We don't know the back conversation between the buyers and their agent. They might have been like, hey, you know what? We kind of don't give a shit about the house that much. But if we get a really, really good price and then on top of it get a discount, sure, we'll go for it. They probably tried their best. But knowingly they were in breach of contract. So the buyer's agent at this point is at fault, not communicating with the listing agent properly. And then the listing agent should have pushed a lot harder on everything, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think the takeaway is for both sides to set expectations as the transaction is moving forward.
Mhm.
Like if you're negotiating and as is not on the table and then all of a sudden as is enters the transaction, both agents on both sides need to set the expectation for their clients on what that exactly means.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I tell people on the buy side, if we're going as is no request, like listen, we will not be asking for anything cosmetic or anything that we saw during the showing, or it's if we're going to ask for any kind of credit, it's something that we could not see. It goes against the
And you're
disclosures.
truly ready to walk away.
And you have to be truly ready to walk away because the seller could certainly say the contract says as is. So if we're not going as is, then we're canceling the
My
transaction.
first question to an as is, after I enter as is contract with a buyer and I'm on the buy side and the inspection comes in with a little dirty stuff, cosmetic. And my first question is like, are you willing to lose the deal over $1,000? Because they started, how first-time home buyers, especially a little bit of like south of 300, 400, a lot of first-time home buyers say, hey, listen, I mean, the dishwasher is a little older, but it works. A few GFC outlets here and there, something else. The link is, the sink is leaking. Overall, fixes of about $1,000. My first question is, are you willing to lose this specific condo over $1,000? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, we ask. We ask for $1,000 and I call the listing agent. I apologize in advance. Be like, listen, yes, we told you as is. Unfortunately, that's not a situation anymore. yes or no. And if they refuse the credits and my buyer is still willing to walk away, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do.
I always try to get a sense for what's truly the biggest issue, and I try to talk the buyer out of asking for everything else. So like even in the things you like active leaks, I always try to address whether it's as is or not, because usually the sellers don't know about it either, and I don't want it to keep like dripping in the cabinets, on the floors, destroying anything further, mold forming. But I'll do my absolute best to talk you out of everything else, because if you're being a reasonable person and you're saying, hey, we have not known this, you have not known this, we just need it fixed, you have a way better chance of you saving it and the seller saying, oh, sure, I didn't know that either. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll get a plumber in. Then when you say, oh, and also fix the GFCI outlet, and also the tile is cracked, fix it, and then you'll get a screw you answer. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you made a good point though. Like there is a little bit more to the backstory to the listing. Has it been on the market for 120 days?
Yeah.
Are the sellers still living there? If they're not, like
They're
that might be an issue. They're carrying a cost. If they are still living there and they're not in urgent to move out, at this point, back out of the deal. Who gives a shit? But fire your listing agent first, because this is unacceptable. 3 weeks without earnest money, and you're just finding that out. That's fucking
and even if
insane.
it was like some form of a smart move on their end, which we don't understand, you should update your seller all the time. It shouldn't be like, oh, actually, now that I think about it, never got it.
Yeah.
Crazy though. That should never been a situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So moral of the story is make sure you have a good agent, interview them, and don't be a cheap dick.
That's for the buyer. The seller, actually no fault to the seller this time. I feel like we usually hate on sellers a lot.
Taking a
in
bit
this
from
case, I don't
True.
actually.
Yeah, taking a bit from last episode that you said regarding preparing your sellers for all possible scenarios in the deal. You know, when you sit down and you explain them everything that could happen after you go under contract, which is a good conversation, and then you can reiterate that after something like this happens, be like, hey, remember we talked about it? That's scenario number 2. That's where we are right now.
Right.
So this is how we proceed. So we are not blindsided.
And even with the last scenario, Anastasia made a good point about, the more that you go through, the more you know. And I think one of my big learning lessons, like after maybe my first year, was like setting those expectations and going down different scenarios right off the bat is imperative, rather than shit's hitting the fan and you're like trying to navigate it. It's easier to be like, remember we talked about this. We might get a low ball. In that case, this is where we go. We go as is or whatever the case may be.
Moral of the story, just vet your agents. But if you're in, we always shit on Iowa, on Katie. But if you're in Indiana, I mean,
same thing.
Indiana,
Idaho, Iowa.
Idaho is different. Idaho is in the mountains. My sister-in-law lives there. Everything else is
going back to Americans.
I don't.
If you gave me a map that was blank, it would not be pretty if I had to.
One thing I learned from my trucker buddies is every state that starts with I is a shit state. Even Illinois, except Chicago.
Crickets.
Interesting.
Cricket. Can we add some cricket sounds there?
That's not coming from me. That's coming from my trucker buddies who drive through all the states.
What's a trucker buddy?
Well, the buddy who owns a truck and drives it all over the place.
That sounds like, is that going to be your next career?
No, I can't.
A trucker?
Yeah.
Gosh, no thanks.
I mean, some people like it though.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you make the same amount of money of the hours you put in. Very cookie cutter. Yeah,
That's
you know
it.
exactly what you're making every week.
What do we got next?
Do we think
more?
we need another one?
Yeah,
We're probably
why
at
not?
40 minutes.
Okay, let's do it quickly. Maybe,
Quick one.
Yeah?
All right, let's
It's
do a
more
quick one.
reading, and it's gonna be less discussion, I think.
All
But I
right.
think it's an interesting one. English is not my first language. Let's go. We're selling our house.
Let me just say that you guys are automatically smarter than me because you can speak 2 languages. So even though English is not your first language, you're already smarter than this asshole
Thank you.
American because I can't only
You're
speak
all
one.
very smart.
Well, okay. Anyway.
Okay. Nice to be nice. Let's see. We are selling our house. We have buyers. They signed the contract, but they tried to buy the wrong house. That was the title. So long story. Sorry, kind of complicated. This is the dumbest, most frustrating mistake I've ever been screwed over by. We live in Alabama. My husband and I are selling our house. We found our buyer over the weekend. The contract was signed by all parties on Saturdays. However, we are still living in the house until June 30th. The problem, we live in a cul-de-sac in a newer house development, and someone else came in the same Someone else in the same cul-de-sac has exact same floor plan as us and is also selling. We are number 107. The other house is number 102. But they were under contract before our house even hit the market, so we figured there wouldn't be any problems or confusion. The buyer scheduled a showing. We made ourselves cars during. We drove a few blocks away and sat watching our Ring camera to see when they arrived and left. Nobody showed up. We contacted our realtor and let her know. She called them and they told her they did see the place. We were confused, but we let it go. The same thing happened the next day, but when we came home, we saw people standing in the driveway of the other home as if they just toured it. Then the offer came. We triple checked with our realtor as the offer was $2,000 above asking, their closing costs notwithstanding, which didn't make sense as our house is a little worse for wear. But the other home was more newly renovated. We checked several more times because we wanted to be sure that we had the right house. They had the right house before the contract was signed. Our realtor thought we were nuts because she thought that there was no way anybody could make that mistake. Turns out it's possible. We were home today and the house inspector suddenly showed up unannounced. We were confused as hell when the guy said that the buyers told him the house was vacant and that's why we got no notice. At this point, we insisted that he contact the buyer and make damn sure that he's supposed to be at number 107. He called them and yeah, the buyer agent royally fucked up. Somehow gave them the wrong house number to tour. Each house's lockbox happens to be the same app for entry, so they were able to get inside, even though the place been under contract since mid-May. So the contract is signed, but they thought they were getting a different house. Does the buyer still have the right to back out at this point?
Yes.
What happens if they do? What recourse do they have if they do try to back out? Our inspector, the home inspector, said that this may be a lawsuit territory, but obviously we have no idea how serious this is and how to proceed, and even if it's worth going to court over. I mean, buyers only paid $1,000 in earnest money, so I have no idea how much the issue is worth.
Fire your agent.
They would never happen if the agent was there for showings.
Like, fire that agency, whoever that buyer's agent like company is for, just like torch the fucking place and just like that's it. Like, I'm so pissed. Like,
when you
I
are
hear shit like
hiring
this.
an agent to list your place, if you don't ask anything, you should be asking who's showing the place, who will be there, will it be you, will it be on a lockbox, will it be your assistant, because that can make or break your deal.
Yeah.
Period. The end.
Like, think about that. The buyer's agent, like, think about how bumblefuck that whole thing is. The buyer's agent gave instructions to the buyers to go see a house and gave the
That's illegal.
and gave the wrong instructions because the buyers walked into the wrong house without an agent.
That's illegal.
That's
illegal.
trespassing.
The listing agent gave a lockbox number to somebody and nobody actually entered the house.
Well, that was the Central. And at Central, like, you can actually see if somebody opens it. Yeah.
I have a story for another time about that.
That whole transaction between that whole communication transaction, everything in this is just upside down. It just pisses me off so much.
But
dude.
also the sellers, yes, the buyer can back away. This is what the due diligence is. You can't be like, it's not like a gotcha moment of like, sorry, we thought we were buying them out
Everybody
next
wants
door.
to sue everybody
Like,
for everything.
Chill. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's a mistake. That's what the due diligence is. And that's kind of reflective of the previous story that you just read too. Of like, what can we do? There's nothing you can do. Buyer does get to do due diligence. And if they back away, that earnest money, that's not yours. That's not yours. You don't want somebody paid you earnest money. You don't get that money in 99.9% of the time. So just that's what happens. Yeah.
Make sure you vet your agents.
I think it should be illegal for agents to give away to put a proper listing agent to put a property on a lockbox. I just personally
You
think
can
it
be a
should
lawyer in your next career.
Like, I'm
That's
telling
it.
I
Change
mean,
the law. Go to the Supreme Court.
if I'm president of the world, I'll ban two things. I'll ban lockboxes and bicycles.
I do
That's it.
hate bicycles. I cannot
I
ride a
hate
bicycle.
bicycles. Like, I'll ban these two things, and it just should be illegal. Like, you should not be able to. You should be automatically your license revoked if you leave a property on a lockbox. That's my opinion.
Also, one thing I think how you can differentiate a good agent from the bad agent. These people clearly suspected this may have been an issue. The agent should have double checked. If your agent is uncomfortable asking silly questions on your behalf, even though like, okay, it may seem like a silly question to them, then you should find a different agent.
Yeah.
You should have called and be like, hey, crazy thing, maybe silly question, but can you like see how the house like looked on the inside? My sellers are seriously concerned that you guys may have seen the other house.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. That's what you would have done. That's what you would have done.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, your client specifically asked you to double check. That agent clearly did not double check. So if you are suing anybody or firing anybody
Sue
or
your
pissing being pissed at anybody, be at your agent.
Yeah, that's they have
Yeah.
nothing to add. Yeah, they should not have licenses. There.
That's it.
Okay, I got to go to a showing.
Okay, perfect. I think that was nice and sweet.
Katie, we missed you.
Bye, Katie.
We'll see you next time, Katie. So if you're listening to this, Katie, all the way through, we missed you. Love you. Mean it. Thank you for joining us for Behind the Sign. We'll see you next time. Love you. Mean it.
Bye.
Bye.